Okay, so in this chapter, kind of towards the end, there are several other types of entities. I don't address all of those here, but I do address the ones that I deem most relevant. Most of them are really just referenced very quickly. So this is kind of a high level discussion of kind of what they are, what they do. All right. So joint venture. All right. Um, I like to think of joint venture as a partnership with a finite purpose. All right. That being an end date, so a finite amount of time, and then at which point the partnership automatically enters dissolution, or for a particular purpose. All right. It could be to build. Well, it could be to accomplish a particular task or for a certain amount of time. Partnership law applies, right? So that's when you see one joint venture, think partnership, all right? Syndicate, which is an investment group for a purpose, right? And so these are commonly used for purchase of a racehorse, right? Thoroughbred horses are expensive, right, because of the concentrated bloodline, all right? And oftentimes you need multiple investors to get a horse that you believe has the chance to earn, to win key races, right? In horse racing, it's typically thought of as the Kentucky Derby, the Preakness Stakes, and the Belmont Stakes. There are others, but that syndicates are commonly used for that. Commercial real estate projects. The main difference between a syndicate and a joint venture is that in a syndicate, the partners are often, they really assume more of investor roles, and their direction of the project usually is very, very focused and limited to a certain range of outcomes that's defined at the beginning of the investment process. That said, in the vast majority of circumstances, partnership law applies. All right. A joint stock company, which is basically an alliance between two corporations where they swap stock and become almost like almost like a merger, although not legally. Partnership law applies here, right? Cooperative, all right. So, cooperative really is a model, more so kind of like a franchise, rather than a type of entity. So cooperatives are going to have to be formed as an LLC or a corporation or something underlying that. But we've already talked about cooperatives a bit. You may recall from previous chapter, the antitrust chapter, when we talked about the cooperatives who smaller companies form a cooperative to be able to increase the price that each smaller company gets in the marketplace, right? And how that is subject to rational basis scrutiny for under antitrust law. Well, that's still the same thing, right? Common cooperatives are the Ocean Spray Cooperative, cranberry growers. Right? Many would lead you to believe that the small farmers are a thing of the past, and that's true for grains and other commodities, but for certain things the small farmer really does drive the production, and cranberries are one, citrus fruits are another. The Florida Orange Growers Association is a cooperative, right? And so these are companies where the owners are small business people that if they competed with each other would probably drive the majority of them out of business, right? Because the more competitors you have undercutting price drives the price down. So they bring their product to market together and set a price, and collectively they do better, which is why if cooperatives do too well, they can be broken up If they control too much of the market, they can be broken up because of monopolistic traits, right? But that's what a cooperative is. But it's really more of a model as opposed to an entity. So a cooperative would need to be formed as an LLC or a corporation or something like that. Okay, that's it for this chapter.